So today I will be discussing Defining the Postmodern by Lyotard. So first, just a little background. Lyotard was an influential figure when it came to debating postmodernism. He decided to join this debate once Habermas, who we learned about last week, called him a young conservative. Born in Versailles, he gained a master's degree in philosophy, and in between teaching high schools and universities, Lyotard produced early works that connected Marxism to philosophy. He also studied some psychoanalysis that is prevalent in his works. He was the first president of the International College of Philosophy in Paris, which he co-founded. His work strongly focused on architecture, the arts, and the avant-garde, and defining the postmodern is not different as it's split into these 3 points. So in this first section, Lyotard describes the differences between postmodernism and modernism through architecture. Lyotard discusses Vittorio Gregati in this section, who was an Italian architect. Gregati claims that the postmodern and modern differ due to there no longer being a connection between architectural projects and socio-historical progress. This basically means that postmodernism does not focus on universalization. To clarify, many modernist architects tended to simply deconstruct older or historical neighborhoods because they were looking for something called an urban renewal. This means that they wanted to make everything new in a uniformed, progressive way. However, their plans did not make life easier or better as they expected. Instead of upgrading the neighborhoods, they turned them into unlivable and unwelcoming city-like structures that made people feel unconnected. Lyotard believes that this is due to modernism attempting to force everyone into a utopian future where every variety is diminished. He appreciates diversity and thinks it's harmful for people to get rid of these neighborhood local differences. So he states that one cannot be confident in saying that a specific way of life is better or superior than anyone else's, which brings us back to imperialism in a way. So ultimately, Lyotard is saying that he believes the postmodern is different from the modern because it does not force people into molds and allows for plurality when it comes to lifestyles. Later in this section, Lyotard also states that people think the post and postmodernist signifies a succession or moving from one era to another. However, he believes that chronology is modern. Modernity believes that you have to break from tradition or forget the past in order to create something new. However, Lyotard states that the past should actually be used in the present. In this section, he references Freud's interpretations of dreams and states that the remnants of the past, or the modern, can be represented in the present. He believed that a postmodernist work is comparable to dream analysis as it uses bits of history within it to create new meanings. This brings us to Lyotard's second point, which has to do with postmodern and progress. He claims that there has been a deterioration in progress within the last 2 centuries. He says that the whole idea of progress was founded on the concept that art, technology, knowledge, and liberty would continue to benefit all of mankind. However, there were debates over which subject would actually help us gain our freedom, or as he calls it, our emancipation. It was ultimately agreed by all political parties that enterprises, discoveries, and institutions are valid only if they support our liberation and emancipation. In this section, Lyotard also briefly discusses Auschwitz and how progress has been interrupted and distorted due to the events that unfolded. This is because the events of Auschwitz were not moving towards humanity becoming perfect or towards our emancipation. Therefore, the modernist view that progress is a simple linear flow towards perfection is not viable. Lyotard also believes that technosciences have harmed the concept of progress. He describes progress as taking place due to motricity, which is a term that he coined. It puts together motor and history in order to show that progress is now autonomous and no longer in human control. He believes that this technology-based progress is not because of the demand of humans and that it only destabilizes us. This is because the more that we gain, the more complex our condition becomes. To clarify, before technology, we just wanted security, identity, and happiness. Things were simpler. However, now we need more and more. We need to find meaning and give complexity and thought to every single object that we see. Due to this, nothing is ever perfect to us. Everything always has flaws to be fixed or improved by becoming more complex. I think that this is pretty well summed up by Lyotard saying and concluding with, consequently, the claim for simplicity in general appears today that of a barbarian. Lyotard's final point is about moving through avant-gardism. He begins this passage by stating that postmodernity is the expression of thought through art, literature, philosophy, and politics. He then gives the example of avant-gardism and art and how this movement is over. Lyotard even calls it laughable and states that he does not like avant-gardism due to the military connotations. However, he thinks that the process of avant-gardism in paintings gives insight into the assumptions of modernity. Lyotard believes that we should take these paintings and compare them to the process of remembering, which is found in psychoanalytical therapy. Through this psychoanalytical process, the patient would typically think about their current situation by reminiscing about past situations, which would help them find deeper meanings. Lyotard believes that this process is used in paintings, as famous paintings often have to work through the past or their predecessors in order to find their own meanings. He states that if people do not attempt to work through the past, like these artists, then they are going to repeat the past and be stuck in modernity. Therefore, the post in postmodernity does not mean that we should go back to the past, but that we should actually analyze it and find our own meanings through it. So lastly, I just have some ending questions for the discussion board. First, do you think that architecture is trying to take history and diversity out of structures? Next, do you think that our progress towards perfection has been derailed by technology? Has technology taken progress out of our hands? And then, do you think it's more helpful to forget the past or work through it?